think in this kind of illogical, manipulated ways, and as we are being also manipulated in ways of thoughts, perceptions, I mean, they force target individuals to start thinking in just nonsensical at all, and play with your brain and your memories and your thoughts to try to get you to accept things in this nonsensical, disturbing ways. Now, today, as a target individual, what's happening to me is they have this ability to make me react to what I see in ways they want me to. That's the technology of this neuro manipulative technology that can make you experience so much things that you know yourself organically will never experience that. But because I'm being manipulated, I'm experiencing these reactions. Now you see this picture. And as I'm saying that, I hear these projected voices coming from what sounds like a neighbors or something like that, but they sound very childlike, and they're supposed to like counter reality. You see here, this is a picture, and I blur their faces because it's just really it's very pathetic. I love it. It's pathetic. You see two person, right? You see in red, and I say GF. That's a quote unquote girlfriend. When I was like 23, she was 18, and we had like a thing. And then after that, going forward, we kept in contact. Matter of fact, now she's married, and everything else. And the reason why they brought this manipulation is because I saw the next person next to her is her sister. I think that's her younger sister. I don't know how much younger, but they're very close. Matter of fact, if you look at them, you will know who's older, who's younger. They always kind of look close to each other. Now, these people now, okay, what's happening is when I look at children, and from the babies to teenagers, they give me these stimulations and sensations and perception, and then they want me to accept this as if it's me. They want me to look at this moment, experience this moment, and think that I'm experiencing this thing naturally, organically. And I know it's not. I mean, earlier today there was the back of the head of some person that looked like a kid, so they gave me a stimulation. She turns around, she doesn't look like a kid, and then it turns off. And it's just like they can make me react to people of all ages in different ways. They give me stimulations, things that I know is not natural, but they try to paint this false persona that is falsified, is manipulated. But then they do like, oh, but you see, what we did is just like we're kind of like investigating you. We're not manipulating you. What's happening is we just putting you together. We're mapping, and then they do this noise campaign, as you just heard, right? This is supposed to be like ways for me to subscribe to it, but this is super orchestrated. Because this is sound very brainwashy. I start talking about what they want me to subscribe to, you hear like a loud noise of a bike. This is, how do you know this is very orchestrated and very governmental, and you understand this is something very, very well founded. And that's because they want me to accept these reactions as if it's natural, and these illogical ways of thinking, these nonsensical ways of thinking, as if it's a way I should be thinking of. Like that's the way I should be accepted. It's just a very manipulative and falsified reality. Now, why am I showing this picture? Listen to how they try to make me think, and listen to at the same time the reality they have to block out. When I met this person in red, right? I was 23 years old. It was early 2010s, and she just turned 18, and she had her sister there. I remember I met that summer. I met all of them, and I ended up, being in somewhat of a relationship with the girlfriend, the person, the GF there, the in red. And I remember before I left, because I was on vacation, I was out of the country, and I was in the country where she was too, and that was my last few days. And she and some guy she meaning the sister, the one in black, kissing a guy, right? The guy was 30 years old. Now this is the youngest sister, so she must have been an underage person. Now you understand the reality of this. Now listen to how they have to falsify reality, and how pathetic life is for people who try to make you accept this falsified reality, while in the reality this is what's happening. This the sister was for the guy who was 30 years old. And me, I was with the sister who, when I was 23, she was 18 years old. And so I remember seeing them kissing, and I remember just looking at her. She, just like, what's going on here? And she looked drunk and whatever, like laughing. And I was just looking at them. I was like, okay, and and that's that, and because obviously at that point, if she's the younger sister and the person I'm with is 18, this person must be underage, and this person I'm talking about is in black. So this underage person is with somebody who's 30 years old. And so now in my mind, what's happening is, listen to how pathetic this things becomes. So the sister who was with a 30-year-old man who was underage at that point. So I believe she was. So they were like, oh, but you see, when they were kissing, you kind of looked at her and you looked at this and that, and you see her, like, and they were trying to like create some kind of version where I was interested in the sister instead of this the GF, the girlfriend, I guess, the one in red, which is BS big time, because I was very much glad that I was with the GF, the one in red, because the sister was kind of like a fun girl, kind of like, and honestly she was kind of drunk and funny and goofy, and it was like, oh gosh, like she's kind of a mess at the time, right? But she was young, and I mean like underage young, and she was with a 30-year-old. And so she was like somewhat of a mess, laughing. I was looking at them. It's like, it's kind of, but they like tried to change and make me fixate that was the sister. I wanted the sister instead of this person in red, which I truly in my thoughts, I always thought at some point I would end up being with her for the long term. Matter of fact, we kept in touch for a long time. But then, years later, I'm talking about 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years later, I see her Snapchats, and there's a video and I see her sister, and they're like, oh, but you saw the picture of the sister, you thought the sister there was not bad looking or whatever. I was like, what? And it started making me think, maybe you start thinking how she was, the way she was, her body is very, like, start coming up with some random things. I'm like, you guys are just delusional, because what they're trying to create is a falsified persona. No, you see, the reality is I was very much thinking about this person in red, to the point where I thought myself being with her for the long term. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and that's that. And so they are trying to kind of flip reality around, because what's happening is today they make me look at kids in these sexual ways. And now they try to make me like think, oh, that's the sister that, remember that time when she was kissing the 30-year-old man, where she was kind of a mess, and it's like, no, that's what you wanted. When I was really with the one in red, which was at the time was 18, I was 23 years old. It's like, you see, we proved it. These people are pathetic low lives. Pathetic. And I'm talking about, this is, by the way, in I'm in my mid to late 30s. So you understand the reality. It's like, now we proved that. You see that? Do you remember when she was kissing the 30s? And they're like, no. And then they start making me think, but you thought this person that was like her, the sister, the one in black, she was shaped like that versus the sister and like that, and they just to create some stuff. And it's like, no, but remember when you saw her again a few years later on the person in red's Snapchat story. You saw her, you thought she was like, because they come up with ways, and right now they give me stimulation to just kind of create and paint these weird stories. Because today what's happening, they forced me to get stimulations toward kids. It's just it's the retardations of life. I don't know. They're just it's just stupidity. There's nothing else I can do. I mean, it's just so pathetic. It's so pathetic. In my brain, they're creating like battles and things to. So I have to be strong and understanding that they just try to paint a falsified reality. They always try to change reality and paint a new reality. When it would be easy to analyze this thing as like, oh, you were obsessed with this person in red. You thought this person in red was going to be maybe a wife of yours. You were going to be married with her. I had all these thoughts about this person. and how like I thought, but not that like no, all along you wanted the other one, and they try to come up with ways like no, just the other one was always a mess. They like versus the sister who had her things together. She was very smart. She was well spoken. She was the like ideal like, and they create these BS stories, and they've tried to force you to accept these ways of thinking. Now, like, oh no, but the way her body is shaped, you prefer. So stupid. To all my target individuals, they are restructuring you and rewiring reality in so many ways, and that's their job. And then call it being at war. It's pathetic, it's sad, and it's fraudulent as ever. But you gotta be strong.